Hello and welcome to another edition of the Spfl Through the Lens. Tonight we're joined by my two co-hosts, Jason Little, and our new show co-host, Mr. Shaun Fagan. How are we, gentlemen?
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm a lot better than Jason is anyway, that's for sure.
I was just asking him earlier on, Jason, has his popularity get any better with any selfies and stuff because of last week been on?
Well, I need to say, talking about Mr. Fagan, we've had a few technical problems tonight, and but I'm just looking at some of the results tonight as well. I'm happy. I'm happy so far. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just happy.
Aye, quite right. Well, I'm just going to show a wee picture of Shaun on Sunday there, right, before the game. And I don't think he was feeling the same way after it. So bear with me 2 seconds.
Shaun, where was the score on Sunday?
I think it had 7 pints, I can't remember the game. See the face, you're stitching me up with that one all the time.
No, if I wanted to stitch you up, no, I mean, they'd be picking something, I don't know, what would we pick? Jason, would it be something like that?
He's a wee blonde trail hand, by the way.
Oh, he's a wee stunner.
He's a wee stunner, all right. Heartbreaker.
So, how was our week? All right.
Training out the boys was Monday night. I've got the new 14s ready to take on that wee Diddy team for Hamilton shortly. So we Davy Garrett's getting fired right up, Pedro.
Was that this week? Davy Garrett's a good guy. I like Davy.
Top guy.
Top guy.
Top guy.
Where's his son? Was his son went to America or something?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where his son went to. I don't know when he get released from Morton. I don't know where he went. I think he went junior for a wee bit, and then, but I don't know. I don't know where he's went to. I'm not sure.
Because I know David contacted me to find out if I had any footage left. His son, but unfortunately, when I left Morton,
He was trying to do some sort of portfolio for him, wasn't he?
Aye.
Yeah.
I mean, I just came across. Somebody sent me this picture of Shaun when the first Rangers goal went in on Sunday there. But
that's no fucking happening.
Anyway, that's obviously the ribbon for the new guy. So
Listen, Barry, can I just say something right now? What an improvement from last week, Mr. Dunbar. At least
We've got slides now. We've got slides.
What an improvement for last week. You're Chalky's back in the good books with you, I think.
I'm back in the game.
You're back in the game, mate. You're back in the game.
I've been substituted. I'm on. So, anyway, the night's games. Jason, you're obviously a happy man. Motherwell 1, Hamilton Accies 0.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game?
No.
Next question.
I cannot. I've been trying to look on Twitter here to see some highlights there. I do apologise. My team, great. I guess a bogey side. I mean, Hamilton have really turned us over the last 2 or 3 games, Shaun.
I think me and Peter talking about it earlier. It was the last 5 games. I think Hamilton's not been beat against us.
No, Motherwell haven't won in the last 5 games.
Aye, so we've Hamilton's 3 wins this season. You know what I mean? So
there was a 4-1 and a 3-0.
It was really happening anyway for Motherwell to beat Hamilton, but not the way it went the night, because Ronan gets sent off after 30, I think it's 32 minutes, and then Motherwell got the part, punish him quite quickly before Brian can get the team sorted. You know what it's like when you lose a man, you're trying to get your formation right, get the players in the right positions, because you're a man down, and then Mulls took full advantage and got their goal in the 35th minute. But like I said earlier, Brian obviously had them in at half time, and Hamilton came out and fired in the first maybe 10-15 minutes. but then again, that's all I've seen because I had a couple of things I had to do with myself. But by the looks of things, it was just that goal was punished us.
How many games are left in the league? 3.
3.
There's no matter. I thought it was 4. I've got to say 4, but 3. You're right. What about Chipper then, Shaun? Let's say what and how long have you been in there? 4 years now.
Chipper.
Yeah. Chipper. Chipper's been in there 2 years.
Chipper's been in there for about. I think this is his first. No, it's his second full season.
What's he changed in your opinion? Different from what? What was the big centre? What was his name again? Martin Cannon. What's he changed?
To be fair, I think he's got a lot more experience. He's got more experience than Martin had. Hamilton went down the road to having Alec Neil, and it worked for him. It was frightening. Alec took over after Billy Reid. They were in the championship at the time, and then Alec got them playing well. Got us promoted in the playoff against Hibs. We were 2-0 down in the first leg. Hamilton's still the only team that's went from played all the daft games, third versus fourth. The winner of that plays the second team in the championship. Then the winner of that plays.
And then it's a sort of playoff.
The playoffs. Hamilton's the only team that's went through all the stages.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Hamilton finished third, so they had to play fourth. Then they won that. They had to play second. They won that over 2 legs. They won that, and then they went and played Hibs when Terry and Morris was at Hibs. Hibs battered Hamilton 2-0 at New Douglas Park, and then it was you're going up to Easter Road on the Sunday. I was lucky enough I went up to watch the game, and to be fair, Hibs couldn't touch us, and then we went to penalties, and the boy Kevin Cuthbert, Big Cat, he scored. I think he saved about 3 penalties that day.
I mean,
going back to your point about Chipper, I believe that obviously Hamilton's been doing the road with Martin after Alec because it worked for him at that point, but sometimes it doesn't work. You've not got that experience. Martin's a lovely guy, would do anything for you, but Chipper he's got the 30 odd years experience being an assistant coach, being just an actual coach, working with the SFA, on the A licence, the B licence. I think you maybe have came across him.
Yeah.
Yes. He's different class, coaching wise, right on the training field. On the training field, he's different class. I've watched him. He's actually come in with the academy, and he's worked with the under 18s. He's worked with the 17s, 16s, 15s, 14s, 13s, 12s, 11s, and 10s. This time, just before lockdown, there's a kid. His mum put it on the Twitter that Brian Rice is hitting shots at him. He did wee goalie. He was 11. He was 10-year-old, under 11s. So to have that kind of connection with the first team manager, there's no many clubs that will have that.
No, definitely not.
Going down to that level to see it. I've only actually ever seen it once when I coached for Hamlin, and that was Brendan Rodgers doing it at Celtic at Lennoxtown, and it was under 14s, and we were obviously playing, and it was tight. It was like, sometimes it's always tight with Hamilton Celtic until the last 30 minutes, and Rodgers is doing a team talk. For the boys to have Brendan Rodgers or the manager, first team manager, take an interest in them, it just gives them a boost. And they came out and they battered the 3-0 in the last period. You know what I mean? So it gets boys going. For academy wise, the philosophy of Hamlin, Chipper fits that bill perfectly because he's into his youth kids. He likes to bring them into the first team and bed them in, but he also needs a wee bit of experience. And hopefully, Hamilton do stay up this year, and then he's got a year under his belt with these kids as well, because they're all good young players, and that's Hamilton's philosophy. We bring them into the first team and try to sell them on to bigger and better things for them to progress in their career.
I mean, Hamilton Accies have always been known to produce a lot of good young players, and then when you go to Accies, you've always got a chance of making the first team if you're good enough. And then that can put you on a stepping stone for bigger and better things.
To be fair, that's it's the west of Scotland. You've got 5 for New Douglas Park. We've got 5 minutes up the road. You've got Fir Park where Jason knows well. Then another 5 minutes up the park. You've got Parkhead. You've got 10 minutes up the road. You've got Ibrox. So Hamilton has to do something different to try to attract kids to come to this to Hamilton. And the way the owners and the directors have their philosophy is a pathway through to the first team. Over the years, Hamilton's always got players going into the first team. They've got a conveyor belt. It's for Frankie McAvoy, now through Big George Cairns. There's always a way, and that sells it.
I was going to ask you that. Obviously, Frankie, I came across Frankie in my early stages. He'd been involved in youth development, and top guy. Declan's boy, great lads, and Big Gio's the top man. I had Alan at Alawan Clyde. As a boy, Harry the Hamster. Remember that one, Harry the Hamster? Was it Hammy the Hamster? Hamster, aye. Is he still doing it?
He's still there.
Is he? But what sort of difference do you think, Shaun, did George Cairns continue with that great work with Frankie, or did he change it to a model he suited, or?
Well, see, to be fair, George worked with Frankie for I think it was about 10 years.
Yeah.
Just as a coach underneath Frankie was head. But before you'd done this, head the junior academy, head the youth academy, and director of it, all this nonsense. Frankie was the head of youth, and then under him was George. So George still continued the good work. They built the foundations, the youth set up when the owners took over. Frankie was in, helped out with Les Gray. And then George was underneath Frankie, and it just worked. He just carried it all the way through. He learned a lot from Frankie. A wee story. Frankie's dad, Maxie, he's died now. God rest him. But he took me to. I think I sent you the photo for the yellow strips on the school team.
Yeah.
He took us at that, and his dad ties in at Celtic. His dad was different class. Frankie's. Grew up just round the corner for me. Frankie's mum and dad was in Central Avenue, and I was in West Avenue, and it was just like a 2-minute walk. But Frankie's dad was different class as a coach as well, and that's where you can actually see where Frankie gets it from, the way he comes across, the mannerism, the way he speaks.
Yeah.
It's really good. You know me, I'm aggressive. I keep shouting loud and everything, but it's the way you get to interact with kids. Some kids like me because I'm loud, I'm stupid, I'm daft, and you can get in at that age, you can get away with it. But then you've got the calmness and the attention to detail from certain coaches, which works as well.
I mean, George Cairns, he comes across as a person that doesn't go home.
Right, no. I've said to him as well, I'm in there for 8:30 in the morning, and then I'll come home and get my dinner and go back down to the club, and George is in there for about 6:30, 7 o'clock, in there early doors. He's there helping the first team, which as a director of youth football, he doesn't need to do it. He takes it on himself to do it because it's his boys that's going into the first team. That's the pathway there. So he wants to make sure they're getting not treated fairly, but he's making sure that he knows them. He knows these kids the best any manager, any assistant manager. He knows them because he's had them since he's been 9-year-old. So
but it'd also make the kids a wee bit more relaxed. We're having a familiar face and someone that you know there.
Oh, 100%.
Someone in your corner, if anything.
And that's what it is. George is there. If he sees a Shaun Fagan that's a wee bit down on a Monday, right, what's up with you? Or the gaffer had a go at me at the game. I know I was there, but you deserved it. Go and show him, and he picks him back up. He's the one that goes round, puts the arm around the shoulder. He's, like I say, he's had the kids for 9-year-old. He knows what makes them tick and what doesn't make them tick.
What about you, Jason? What about your team? Obviously the night's game, but how's things going there?
We're obviously just coming back for the COVID thing. We had a wee write up in the Daily Record not long ago with the breach of regulations, but obviously that's all put to bed. But apart from that, I mean, it's I'm still getting to know my squad. Some talent there, some talent there. But I
think really well, isn't he?
Who?
Cole, he's doing really well.
Yeah. With regards to the first team, and this is what when I first went in there, Big Dell, as you know well, Peter Big Dell Anderson, he had a meeting with the chairman and the manager at that particular time was David Hopkin. And the one thing he said is, listen, I'm into youth, big time. And one of the players that he had, admittedly, I don't think he came through, no, he never came through, he actually was in Airdrie. When I was at Airdrie, he was there, came through the 20s, and there was a guy called Nicky Cadden. Chris Cadden's brother, Shaun.
He's at Livingston? No, is he?
He's at Forest Green he's at now. Well, he went to Hopkins, he went with David to Livingston from Airdrie. Right. And then went to with Morton, and then he's obviously went into Forest Green, doing very, very well. Some of these guys are sort of keep me tabs on.
Really kind of like the diet, doing their eating all that vegetarian much.
No, the chairman's a bit wacky, isn't he? He's saves the world, Carolyn, doesn't he?
Good on him. No, there's something different.
Gus has come in, and Gus's remit is just win games. And I think there's still a few youth guys there. So I think there's about three actually. I think there's three for the academy. Went through the pathway into the first team, and they're still holding their own, which is great to see.
There were some good lads here when I was there. Wee Shaun was pretty good striker up front.
Thanks.
No, that's Shaun. Definitely no, that's Shaun. No, that's Shaun. I'm just looking at some of the results tonight. Obviously, the first one is Hamilton 9-1. Just in case you never knew that.
I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know.
That's a great result. It's a great result for the Hibs. 2-1 against Livingston.
Livingston scored a late penalty, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah. Here a question for you, Shaun. Here a question for you, right? Big fan of Jack Ross, massive fan of him. I think he overachieved when he was with Alba. He brought stability to St Mirren. I think he got a right raw deal when he went to Sunderland. When you look at that programme that was in Prime, I mean, he was doing a great job there, and then all of a sudden the chairman takes a bit of dislike to him, and then it's all KO. But he's came to Hibs, and I think he's doing a great job there. I think if I was a Celtic man, I would be looking at somebody like him.
Why would Celtic look at Jack Ross when they've got Mourinho?
No, just to be honest with you, Jace, Jack's highly thoughty as a coach as well. And his son, I touched on with Chipper. These guys that go on the pitch and actually do it themselves and have their own ideas and get it across. I know I was talking to, you know him as well, Brian Prunty. Prunty's turned around and says he's one of the best coaches he's ever worked with. And it's been great, and it's new ideas. I've had rants on Twitter about these guys getting jobs after jobs, and it's the same old faces. It's a merry-go-round. You're not giving youth a chance. Jack Ross was one of the ones at the time when I was having my rants that should have been getting in somewhere. Now, your point on Celtic, has he got the experience for European football? No, he's not. But how do you gain the experience? You have to be in there to get it. Does he get his teams playing good football? Yes, he do. So, if you're going to take a chance on somebody, you can take a chance on him, because who else is going to come up now to Celtic? Because there's going to be a big turnover in the summer transfer window. Is there going to be players? Me and Peter were talking about this earlier on. Is there going to be players that want to stay with Eddie or with Ayer? Would you keep them after Sunday's performance? I don't know. A lot of players are on loan. They never made the 10 in a row. So some of them are only staying to try and get in this Legends bracket, or we were in the team.
Do you think that adds more pressure to the guy who's in coming in? Because Peter, you know yourself, Gerrard for me now looks hot favourite to win it. just now, next year, and we don't even know who the manager is. We don't even know who the players is, but you can tell the momentum's obviously swing to the Rangers end. But I think it's like Alex Ferguson leaving Man United. David Moyes, what a job that was that he had to do to try and get to the same expectations. And if you think about it, so when Ferguson left, I mean, Rick Giggs and that, he brought all these guys back, but they were almost, in fact, they were never finished. But they obviously done the turn for him to then also win the league, but I think there's probably
a
Celtic manager coming in. But I would put my money on Rangers now on winning it next year.
Well, maybe not with this team because St Johnstone have just scored a late equaliser, a penalty, in the 94th minute.
Yes!
10 in a row still alive, is it?
Oh, Invincibles could be out now,
Shaun, listen.
Full time.
There's still another penalty coming. There's still another.
You're Rangers.
Then I would know it's corrupt if St Johnstone still got a penalty when it's full time.
Peter, there's one result which we've not really mentioned yet. Aberdeen won Celtic now.
I know. We spoke about that earlier on there. I know there's 53 minutes played. I don't know what the stats are on the game yet, but obviously it's a strange one because we spoke about it earlier, Shaun and I don't think there's, going on Sunday's performance with Celtic, I don't think there was that much of a gap between the two teams. In fact, for a large percentage of the game, Celtic had the best possession. It's just Rangers were more clinical in goal.
Yeah, the Celtic finishing was shocking. Actually, I mean, they could have won it. They could have won it 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, and in front of goal. I mean, that was some of the notes I was highlighting. I couldn't believe some of the chances. I mean, if you're JK, you're looking at it and going, you know what, we're actually doing all right here. We're playing some good stuff. Yeah, you've missed the first one, then you missed the second one, you go, right, but it's only a matter of time before we end up. And then you get another one, and then both against you. And I thought Rangers played quite well the first half, to be honest.
Yeah, they did.
They managed Celtic, Jason.
Yeah.
They managed Celtic. Let Celtic have the ball in certain areas, and then once they get close to the final third, they've took the ball off them. Celtic never had an answer, never had any answers in the final third to open them up. They had the chances, granted, but they never took them. And then you got in Laxo. We were having a conversation earlier on why Greg Taylor doesn't play for Celtic in the Old Firm game. I think Laxo's more of a Rangers fan than what people are saying he is. After that performance on
it's a bit of a strange selection where Taylor's playing the game before it, dropped for the Old Firm, and then all of a sudden he's back in tonight again.
Have you showed the goals? Have you showed the goals?
No, I've not showed any goals yet. No, we're still going to go through that. What I would like to ask though was, this week's been, or the last couple of days, it's been fairly crazy in the football world with regards to this Super League. What's your thoughts on that, lads?
Oi, go Jason.
I'll tell you what, if I'm brutally honest, I think it was a great idea. I thought it was a great idea, and I'll tell you why I thought it was a great idea, but there was a key element missing to it. Why was not Rangers and Celtic not invited to that group? Allegedly the biggest two clubs in the world, or probably in top 20 for me, and I think if you came to them and asked, would you be interested in going, I think they would have taken a bit of the hand off you to say, look at the money that we could get out of this. As a football player, in the last year, Shaun, who would you rather play against? Ronaldo, Messi, whoever it may be, or whoever? I'm trying to think of some of the Rangers players. Some of the Rangers did say.
But Jason, some of the players wouldn't be involved in it. Mbappe, I don't think Paris Saint-Germain weren't interested. They weren't interested in it.
But they players, they teams, and this is how I was quite surprised how they pulled the plug on it right. And obviously, the Premiership top six have got a massive TV pool, but I mean, Germany, obviously, that's a fan base thing. I can get all that. But there's other clubs out there, Rangers, Celtic, you're right, PSG. They could have done something, I think, with that.
Well, somebody says to me today that this will not be the last. That'll get rejigged or played about with, and they'll come back with something else.
Well, for me, I'm not having it. I'm not having it at all, because you've got something in the Champions League there, right? And it gets exploited because it's not the Champions League. You've got English second team finish, the third team finish, the fourth team finish. They're getting places before Celtic and Rangers. Now, for our clubs in Scotland to go and compete at that kind of level, they have to strip it back again and go back. I know everybody wants to see good football, but Sky's basically gave English teams all the money to go and buy the best players. Scotland get £2 million TV rights for the full season. We can't. That doesn't even pay somebody's wage down there. You know what I mean? That doesn't pay a player's wage down there for the full season. So if UEFA had to strip it right back and just go, you know what, it's a knockout league instead of all these mini tables, and you just say the champions or the top. I would even accept a top two if it's Celtic and Rangers for Scotland, first and second in England, first and second in Germany, first and second in Spain, etc. And then you go, it's a knockout stages, it's 2 legs over a piece, and then you can progress as if it's a Scottish Cup. You just get yourself in there, and then that's it. And then it's your luck. It's your Donald Duck on that one.
I think some of the Americans coming over with obviously the big guys in the Premiership in particular, who are under extreme pressure now, because it's been well publicised in the media. I think these guys have come out and looked at the model that they're doing in America, like NFL, this draft system, and I think they've sort of looked at that and went, I think we can maybe do that in football. How the whole setup is in the land, that bit I just didn't agree with, but I just looked at the fact that if I'm a Rangers fan or a Celtic fan, and if I'm offered that opportunity to go to Spain 1 week and then Italy the next week and then blah 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 wherever, I would love to be a part of that. Because let's be honest, see right now, they're struggling in the UEFA Championship. Both teams are struggling. That's their level just now. Financially, they cannot compete with these big boys. So the only way for me they would deal with it is to be a part of it.
But that's what I'm saying. So see, UEFA's got to look at it and stop that happening and getting an even playing field. They've got to just strip it back for the Champions League and say it's only for champions or it's only for your top two, and then see your Spurs that finishes third, your Chelsea that finishes fourth, their money goes down, and then as a model, as a business model, as a club, they've got to reevaluate it and look at it differently.
I think the model.
You just put money into them all the time.
Yeah, I think the model that everybody needs to look at is the German model.
Yeah.
The price of games is cheap as chips. It also includes public transport to the stadiums. The stadiums are always full. The players, the quality players they've got are phenomenal, world class. So how can they be so successful in having a football model, a business model like that, and not abusing the fans financially?
The other thing you need to look at as well, sorry Peter, is how many population does Germany have compared to Scotland? Right? That would be the first question I would ask, and then we look at how many actually support the Old Firm.
Well, there's a point there. See in the west of Scotland, and I said it earlier on, trying to attract fans to Hamilton when you get 3 or 4 bus loads leaving Hamilton town centre to go to Parkhead
Yeah.
leaving 4 buses leaving to go to Ibrox, which is 10-15 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
Parkhead's 10 minutes. You've even got fans leaving Hamilton to go to Motherwell. And it was the same for Motherwell. Motherwell's got fans going for Motherwell.
I seen you one time getting the cross keys shown in Wichita going into the Celtic game. I'm sure. Wichita, cross keys in Wichita. I've seen it. That's when you pay, and that's when you want to know. That's when you want to know. You're in game.
You should have seen the other trips I went on.
So I think we should look at the German model at least to try and look at that. But as you say, Shaun, I think forever and a day that's always been the battle with the local teams when you've been up against the old firm.
Peter, sorry, give you a perfect example, right? We were in the Hamilton were in the playoffs against Dundee United. We put our tickets on sale. We sent the tickets up to get the North Stand. We sent the tickets up to Dundee United. Dundee United is sold out, 2,249 tickets in the space of 10-15 minutes. Our chief executive comes to me and says, how can you do that? I says, because you're either a Dundee United fan or you're a Dundee fan. You maybe get the odd one or two pop up to Aberdeen an hour and a half up the road, or you've got an hour and a half down to Ibrox, an hour and a half down to Celtic. A lot of them are just local. They'll just go and support a local team. With the rest of Scotland, there's too many, for whatever reason, and it's been over the years, have been going to Celtic for, oh, you're brought up a Catholic, you're going to be this, you've been brought up that, you're going to Rangers, that's it, that's what your dad believes, that's what whatever nonsense is. Instead of looking at it, and if you're Hamilton, go support your local team. And by the way, I'm bad for it as well, because I was your park boy, but I was in the middle, Jace, because I was I was more to the east side of Glasgow, you know. But that's the problem that Scotland has got in the west of Scotland. How many teams are in that location?
Sorry, it's just you saying Dundee there. It's surprisingly what you're saying. They still have that problem because a few of my mates stay in Dundee, and I think there's an area called Lochie. I think it's Lochie or something, and that's predominantly a Celtic area, Celtic-based area. And they say they'll probably 2 buses go from there down to Parkhead, and probably the same with Ibrox as well. And, I mean, if these clubs, if these people had to support their local team like Etoile, they didn't even know what the score is tonight.
One of the games that sprang to mind has been well known. I think would be really frustrating for you as a Motherwell fan, Jason, seeing it, was the Scottish Cup final against Dundee United.
Yes. Yeah.
When the amount of fans, if Motherwell had their fans week in, week out, then it would be phenomenal.
I was 18 that day, Peter. That was my 18th. Yeah, I wish it was 18 stone there. That was my 18th birthday then, the 18th of May, right? And I swear to God, I was actually in the Dundee United end that day with my uncle. But it was
I was in the Motherwell end.
And it was like the family, you got the family and the parents and that, right? But there was more Dundee United fans in there than there was Motherwell fans. But do you know what? See the atmosphere. The atmosphere. That game is just one of the best games you'll ever see, right? And the amount of Dundee United fans who come up to us, well done, blah, blah. I think because it was 2 brothers as well. It was that family atmosphere. There was no hostility or anything like that. And I've been to a few old firm games and gone, holy moly, this could kick off any time. But I'd never ever experienced that game now. But I can remember driving through Russia and Kelly cross keys, 3 buses, everybody with Motherwell tops on. right?
Well, I got on the bus for the Avenue.
Well, I was going to say the West End bar when it was still open. Didn't boat me rush it. 2 buses. I'm going, hey? Wait a minute, what's happening? I then drove into Craignook to the Craignook Oranger, and there's a minibus leaving for the Craignook Oranger. I'm going, wait a minute here. And then when I go to Hamden, I'm going, wow.
It was crazy, what a day. And then I had the cheek to get off the bus on the way home to go to Fir Park.
To go celebrate this.
I was on the pitch. Because there's that sort of ledge on the main stand just above the dugout.
Mm-hmm.
And the players stood in that.
Shaun will tell you, he's seen that quite a lot.
I used to sit underneath it.
So I went to Fir Park, but what a cup final. Anyway, do you want to talk about the weekend games for the cup game?
No, not really, no.
Yeah, let's go on. Come on, let's go on.
Right, the first game, obviously, I was going to bring up was the Aberdeen game, 2 each. I'm just trying to...
Oh, you spoke too soon, Jace, you spoke.
Stephen Glass, what do you think, Shaun? Good appointment? Early stage, early?
It's the same as what I was talking to Peter about with his touch with the defender. I think it's number 3. I can't remember, can't see him. I think it was number 3.
Shaun, I'm putting you in spotlight now. Freeze, Peter, freeze it there. Freeze it there. Do you think some of the men are maybe just not streetwise enough, or are we still too honest as players, or too nice as players?
I think that's the way the game's going. I was speaking to Alan McDonald, the kit man, at Mullow the night before the game, and he's saying that, like, obviously back in the day you had your characters, you had your leaders, and if you're in a changing room and you're getting beat for some reason, you're getting there's a fight hits happening, but in the same breath, like you're saying, that's just streetwise. That's just know when to take a booking and know when, like, you can joke or take him out. But if you run it on, I think it ends up a 5v4.
Yeah. See, that's what I noticed. There's a guy. He's going to the Aberdeen left back position, taking the player with him, creating that space in between the two of them, the back three. See that?
Thomas. Yeah. And it's right, hold it there. See
that first touch.
Aye, because you'd centre halves on the back foot. That first touch across him sets him up for the whole goal, so he can get anything to the goal he wants.
And I think the centre back had realised that if he kept his leg in there, that could have been a penalty as well.
Aye.
He tried to pull it there.
For Livingston, it's J. Emmanuel Thomas. What a goal that is from Livingston.
He's an awkward big play to play against, I think.
Yeah. It's good goal.
Tight, but he's really, really good with his feet.
Like Peter Crouch.
Yes.
Like Peter Crouch was what they play against, and hopefully one of our guests in the next couple of weeks will be able to tell us about that. But with Crouch, it was a case that he's a great first touch.
Then we go into the Boyle. Hibs, third goal.
Deutsch for Newell. Nisbet does get his head to it. He's unlucky. Boyle finishes it though.
Pretty close angle, was it no?
That's a tight angle, that. That's just as tight as Jason's wallet, man.
I'm just looking at the keeper there. I'm looking at the keeper there, right?
I like that one.
Yeah. By the way, I watched that one. And I tell you what, Martin did very well. Mullen looked sluggish, if I'm honest. I just didn't. I don't know if it was a mentality thing or whatever, because a good bit of rest. The team had a good bit of rest. So, and I think Graham Alexander's come in and he's steadied the ship. I was a big fan of the previous manager, and I think he's come in and as I say, there's stability there, but they struggled. I mean, they definitely struggled.
To be fair, Alexander's in a no-win situation here, because the fans are on his back already because of the way the type of football they're playing, but he's still got the same players as Robinson had.
Yeah.
And if certain players' attitudes on the right, and it's a case, you know what, it's not for me today.
Yep.
There's nothing a manager can do.
Yep.
That if a player's deciding, and to be fair, speak to a few people in the Mull when they're talking about the calibre of players they're going for now. Mullow's no one of these ones that's going and getting you a Dunfermline striker that's doing well in the Championship of Scotland. They're going down and getting your Avani, your Coles and all that kind of one for the Championship that's played there. And they're coming up and they're looking about and they think, this isn't for me. You're against a Morton who's a dog at times, right in the most of faces. It's a case of sometimes you need to get that fine balance between bringing players up for down south and having enough players that knows the game in the Scottish football.
I think that mentality would change a bit when the fans come back, Shaun. I think.
The fans won't let them away with it.
Yeah, but even and we're going back to another comment talking about bypassing so many stadiums to go into Glasgow, wherever it may be. When you've got a packed Fir Park, and you spent many a year there, that's a cauldron place to I mean, as a Mull fan watching it as well.
Jason, I hated playing there.
Yeah. I said it, hate you playing there.
Right, so obviously the other game that we're going to speak about is the Old Firm game.
You're awfully quiet, Shaun. You're awfully quiet, Shaun.
It's one of the games
You see the Old Firm game, Jason, I'm not having that.
There's no Old Firm anymore.
Fucking chestnut. Right, so it was one of the games where we spoke on the Facebook page and everything else where it could go either way. Where I thought you said Celtic, I said Rangers, but leading up to the game, I was a wee bit apprehensive about the game. I didn't think that Celtic would go a season without getting a result over Rangers.
Yeah, I was very much in the opinion that I thought Celtic would have won it if James Forrest was playing. And I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I think he's been a major, and I'll be honest, I'm not a massive fan of James Forrest, but what he does, he ticks. Celtic tick when he's playing. It reminds me like Roberts, when Paddy Roberts was, he was a sensational player with Celtic, and James Forrest is not as good as him, but I tell you what, he's a tricky character.
What I found strange, well, not strange, but surprising was the two lineups. Now, on paper, you would think Rangers would go 4-3-3, Celtic might have went 4-2-3-1. But that wasn't the case. I mean, I've highlighted some of the formations here. I mean, for the first half, for most of the game, Rangers were 4-4-2. And then Celtic, they were using the diamond.
I think with Rangers, if the 4-4-2, I think Kent was just obviously playing off Brown.
Yeah.
He was just trying to get to play off him and play in behind just Morelos. With your other one there, the 4-5, the 4-1-4-1, that easily turns into a 4-3-3 when you've got the ball.
Yeah, of course, obviously, with your two wide men going forward to support through the centre. Yep. And then pushing forward. But I think what Rangers were doing was sitting, allowing Celtic to have possession and then creating a bit of gap between Celtic's midfield and their defence, and then when obviously they were quick in the break whenever they stole the ball back, and I think that's where Rangers were mainly successful, because Celtic going forward, they looked pretty dangerous.
Like I said before, they looked dangerous until they got to the final third, and then as soon as Rangers won the ball, it was a quick counter-attack on their side, and then they've done it the last three games. Mm-hmm. So it's fair. For Kennedy to know that we're going to have a lot of possession of the ball, we need to actually work in the final third to make sure we're getting these wee combination plays so we're hurting them. And then it just looked as if they got to a certain stage and Celtic ran out of ideas.
Mm-hmm. Because I think I've got a picture But obviously we had. What are you doing, Jason?
Are you alright, Jace?
Sam just dropped.
With that
No,
wallet
you
again.
nearly dropped once.
During the course of the game, obviously I highlighted, we were talking about Celtic's diamond formation. So there we had it there. So the whole team there, where you'd Laxalt, Ayer, Welsh and Kenny. And then there's Celtics. And that's where Rangers were pretty quick at closing them down, nicking the ball off them, and then going on to attack.
Well, you look at straight away, that's Kemp's on the ball, and he's the closest man to him's Brown. So you see there straight away, Rangers have obviously seen that early doors and then changed their formation because they're quite good. So Rangers play 4-3-3, but they've still got the personnel. They go and change it to a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1.
And then obviously we had the Rangers formation.
David Turnbull, I thought was excellent for Celtic again at the weekend.
Aye, Turnbull's, I think he's just going to excel. Even
Do you think it's too early for him for the Europeans? Sure.
I think so. I think Stevie Clark's got to stick to the guys that's got him there. But he could be put in as a wild card.
Well,
to get him something different because
I think they might shout him up because Ryan Jack is injured.
Different type of player for me. For me, Jason, what I was saying was I was surprised that he wasn't included in the last squad. But maybe be one of the ones that will keep him as a wee kind of secret weapon and bring him on and nobody knows about him.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to use a player like that, is it someone you're wanting to bring in that you could maybe use in maybe 2 or 3 different positions? Maybe like Forrest. All right, Forrest doesn't have as many games under his belt now because of the injuries, but you could utilise Forrest in various positions for the Scotland tour. And then obviously you're talking Patterson for right back for Scotland. Would you bring him on board? But that would maybe be to the cost of O'Donnell.
I think he'll go with O'Donnell. I think he'll go with O'Donnell.
He has to go with O'Donnell because Patterson, yeah, he's done well since he's come into the Rangers setup, but he's only had a handful of games. O'Donnell's your experienced pro, he understands the game, he knows when his back's up against the wall.
I trust him. You trust him?
Yeah.
But saying that, Patterson, it's not just like a handful of games, it's the games that he's played in. He's played in old firms, he's played in Europe.
Yeah, now I understand. By the way, I think for the manager to pick him, I think it'd be a good shout to take, if I'm honest. But I'm certainly on the O'Donnell front. I think
and O'Donnell has the international experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes a brave manager to put the kid in. Steven Gerrard would probably say, "Listen, I feel confident enough in playing him, no problem."
But Jason,
but when I talk about international, it's a different level again.
But then Jason, we'll see in the next few games who he picks on a regular basis if it's going to be Tavernier.
Oh, with Tavernier, yeah.
Oh, there you go. He's not that confident in playing him before Tavernier.
Yeah.
I've seen to Peter before that. It's not a bad situation to have because Tavernier's just signed a new contract. So if Patterson's now, you can only hold Patterson back so much. But I still think he needs more game time and needs more on the training field with his backroom staff, with the boy Michael Beale, who's different class. I think he still needs probably another season, and then you'll probably see Tavernier move on and Rangers getting money for him.
Get some money for him.
He's already made the replacement.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, looking at the stats, I quite looking at passing matrix, see who's passed to who, how many times, where the sort of main sort of player was. And I don't know if this has surprised you, but for Celtic, Walsh had the most amount of passes.
For me, Celtic centre halves are going to have the ball the most because teams just sit in, and Rangers did sit in the first half against Celtic. So you're talking about Ayer. Yeah, look at Ayer. Ayer's the second one with the most passes.
Yep, but did you see the most amount of passes Welsh passed to was Christopher Ayer?
So we're going
That's
side
where-
to side.
Yep, 24 passes.
And
I quite
who
like
did Ayer
looking
pass
at
to
these.
the most?
I tell you what, the one I'm surprised with is the Turnbull one, actually, after giving some praises there.
But Jason, see, he's picked the ball in dangerous areas. That's where he is. It's a moment of magic when he's on the ball.
Yeah.
So, being on the ball that often and just passing the
Yeah.
ball side to side like we see there now. He picks up areas, and I think it was the last slide you had up, Peter. He's in behind the back, Rangers' back midfield line. He picks up in the wee pockets, and that's the dangerous bit. He just needs to get a wee bit sharper for me to be on the half turn and playing the killer pass through to the strikers.
I'm really quite impressed with all this start stuff this week, Peter. You've been on the. Well, see, it's your team you're doing, isn't it?
I know. That's what I'm talking about there. Look at Turnbull and behind Davis.
He's in the pocket, isn't he? Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times in the games that he's got in that position, but he's just not been sharp enough to get it through to the strikers' run. And that's where he just needs to be side on and getting on the ball a wee bit quicker and moving it a wee bit quicker to cause right problems.
Right. So obviously we looked at Celtics, so we'll look at Rangers passing matrix, and what we got. So here, so a different. Obviously, the front men have got a higher passing rate than what the Celtic guys were. I mean, when you look at Rangers centre backs, there's Goldson, 24 passes, and Welsh, he'd 86 or something. I mean, what a difference!
It tells you what Celtic can move the ball, Peter.
There, Davis, he's got the most amount of passes, 46.
But you would expect that.
If I'm the Rangers manager, I'm delighted the two centre backs have had 70 odd passes, 60 odd passes, because they're in their own half, they're moving the goal. I mean, you just have to look at the centre backs for Celtic. Was that 30 and 20? Is that 20, 30?
Barisic with 36, Hollander 20, Golson 24, and Patterson with 41.
I mean, I would expect, I was going to say, I would expect Davis would be the highest one.
Was with 36.
Yeah.
See, for me, Jason,
yeah.
for me, that just shows you how quick the Rangers get the ball forward into the front three.
Yeah.
You look at Morelos. So
that's Pierre.
Aye. So Goldson has got the ball. He's had it like 24 times. He passed 24 times. But you look at Patterson, 41 times. Your fullbacks 36 times, and then the next one's your midfielders, which you should expect to get on the ball. But
Kamara, Arfield, Aribo.
How quickly they get the ball to their strikers and go and break. That just shows you the pattern of the game is Sunday.
Yeah. So Celtics had the most amount of possession, which we knew anyway, and Rangers had just quick in the counter attack and pass it through.
That's it. It's been like that for the last 3 games for the Celtic Rangers games.
So we'll go into some of the highlights.
I think he's did exceptionally well for Celtic. I don't judge him in one game.
Don't get me wrong, he done well when he first came in. He was getting up and down the park when and he was a threat for us. But I think, and it's just shown on Sunday, and I'm not judging him just on Sunday, I'm judging him on the defensive. Because first and foremost, he's a left back, and he can't defend. He's good at going forward, granted, that's fine. But you also need to defend in the big games. And if Celtic's going to make any progress in Europe, now needing to get back to winning a trophy for next season, they have to build strong foundations for the back.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think we'll call it a night, lads. Thank you very much for your company and your insight and your wisdom. Well, I think I went too far there with your wisdom, right enough. Your insight, knowledge.
And then see next time, Jason. Yes, next time, want to make it in time, pal.
You get punctual with his timekeeping, eh?
I'm normally here 10 minutes early.
You're in the first round of drinks, you've been fined. You're in the first round of drinks, Lord.
And make sure the Wayne gets your laptop all set up before you come on.
Yeah, she's shouting. She's already shouting.
Right, gentlemen.
Right, guys,
thank you very much once again. Have a lovely night. Take care.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.